Open a standard Western world history syllabus covering late antiquity, and you will find a narrative built on three pillars. The curriculum centers on the Roman Empire, Sasanian Persia, and Han China. Yet, a primary source written by someone living in the 3rd century disrupts this familiar triad. The Persian prophet Mani, founder of Manichaeism, documented his view of the global political landscape in the text known as Kephalaia 77. Mani explicit 4 greatest kingdoms of his time. He named his native Persia, he named Rome, he named Cillis, referring to China, and he named a 4th global peer, the African Empire of Aksum. Modern scholars read this assessment through a Coptic translation of a lost Syriac original, but the attribution of this global ranking to Mani himself is historically firm. It represents a contemporary non-African recognition of Aksum's status. We are left with a persistent gap between what a 3rd century Persian leader saw and what is currently taught in world history classrooms. The Horn of Africa provided the engine for Aksum's wealth. The empire controlled the Red Sea choke point at Adulis, the essential link between the Mediterranean and the Indian Ocean. The global trade in ivory, gold, emeralds, and spices effectively passed through Axumite hands. Around the year 270 CE, King Endibis translated this commercial dominance into monetary sovereignty. He began minting standardized state coinage in gold, silver, and bronze. This established Aksum as the first state in sub-Saharan Africa to issue its own money, a level of economic sophistication that would not be repeated in the region for centuries. Many Axumite kings are known to history today solely through this coinage. The existence of a standardized, multi-denomination currency across 400 years proved the empire possessed an independent fiscal infrastructure that rivaled its Eurasian contemporaries. Around 340 CE, King Ezana enacted a transition that redefined the empire's geopolitical alignment. He formally adopted Christianity as the official religion of the Axumite state. The 4th century church historian Rufinus of Aquileia attributes this to a Syrian Christian named Frumentius, who was shipwrecked on the coast, raised in the Axumite court, and eventually consecrated as the empire's first bishop. Scholars continue to weigh the specifics of this account. The debate centers on whether Frumentius personally led a royal conversion or simply provided official structure to a faith that was already spreading through the empire's trade ports. The state's own records provide the physical receipt of this change. During Ezana's reign, the iconography on Axumite coinage shifted. The earlier disc and crescent, a symbol of the older South Arabian-derived religion, was replaced by the Christian cross. This move made Aksum one of the earliest states in the world to officially adopt the cross. It happened in the same historical window as the Roman Edict of Milan, placing the African Empire at the forefront of the global Christian transition. King Ezana also projected power through military force, leaving behind trilingual inscriptions, written in Ge'ez, Sabaic, and Greek, to document his campaign into the Kingdom of Kush at Meroe. Historians like Claude Riley examine these records to determine if Aksum was the primary cause of Meroe's collapse, or if Ezana was simply documenting the final breakdown of a kingdom that was already in decline. In the capital, Axumite kings marked their power through a field of monumental stelae, funerary markers carved from single blocks of solid stone. The largest of these, the Great Stela, was 33 meters tall and weighed roughly 520 tons. It was the largest single block of stone humans are known to have quarried and attempted to erect in antiquity. The Axumite state possessed the military reach to dissolve neighboring kingdoms and the engineering logistics to raise monuments that physically outsized the famous obelisks of Rome. A common misconception suggests that Aksum simply fell during the 7th century. The usual explanation is that the rise of the Arab conquests cut off trade, leading to a sudden and total collapse. However, modern archaeological research by experts like David Philipson points to a more gradual shift. They cite internal factors, including agricultural exhaustion of the highlands and significant changes in the regional climate. The empire did not vanish, it transformed. The political center moved south, and the Axumite institutional identity survived through the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, the world's longest surviving original Christian polity. We find the physical evidence of this continuity in the 6th century Garima Gospels. Written in Ge'ez, the same language used in Axumite royal inscriptions, these are among the oldest complete illuminated gospel manuscripts in existence. an empire that minted gold currency before Rome abandoned silver and raised the largest single stone monuments in antiquity, remains largely absent from the standard Western curriculum, despite having left behind a clear and continuous record of its